We're at the George Crosby Manitou State Park on the North Shore of Minnesota, and there's a number of different options here for things to do: hiking, backpack camping, and canoeing.
There are 3 trails that come out of the parking area here at the state park, and we chose the middle trail, and we did that specifically because it leads to what they call the Cascades, which is a beautiful little waterfall on the Manitou River. The trails that are here, though, connect to many other trails, so there's like you
Oh,
can go 12, 15 miles out of here, I think.
yeah, and I actually think you can go further if you connect like the Lake Superior Trail, which runs like I don't know, a long way kind of along the North Shore. But yeah, there's quite a few options here for hiking.
There, you mentioned backpacking and camping. There are sites along this trail. I think there's like 4, 7, and 9 miles, something like that. So they're a pretty good hike in,
Yeah, as well as along the other trails. I don't remember exactly how many, but they're all hike in backpack sites. So you got to, carry everything in and carry everything out.
including bug spray. We're here in July, so mosquitoes and deer flies have been a pretty big deal here in Minnesota where we've been. Although today's hike wasn't
Actually, it
too
wasn't
bad.
no.
We had some bug lotion on
Knock
and
on wood.
hats, that kind of thing. I didn't think it was actually too bad down there or throughout the trail. But this was a nice little trail. Now, I don't know the other ones because we haven't been on them, but the middle trail, pretty good inclines, some loose dirt, some rocks. And
A lot of tree roots.
And I would assume that would change based on weather.
Yeah, it could get slippery if it's wet. So we're here in a drought, so it was actually pretty dry, but we did take our hiking poles with us, and that helped just navigating some of the tree roots and some of the rocks and getting down by the water and the waterfall itself. Just be careful because it was pretty low and dry, so we were able to get out on the rocks, but you'd have to be really careful if it was wet.
It's about a 7-mile drive in from the main road. It is a dirt road. It was pretty washboard when we drove across. So the van is not happy with us right now, but it survived and we'll be fine. And now we have to repeat it to get out of here. But it was worth it. Nice hike, nice waterfall. It was really peaceful in there. So I'd recommend it.
Yep. Take some water because it is a little bit of a strenuous hike in there. So not far. It's just a mile, but it's kind of strenuous.
I was going to say, I don't think we ever said how far it actually is. And with us, people never know. But it really is. It's 2 miles in and out. We did what, 2.5 because of our wandering
Yeah, because
around.
we wandered up and down the falls to take pictures, so every little step counts.
But it's a nice little park and nice trail system out here, so I'd check it out if you could. We just got done with our little hiking excursion at Temperance River State Park, and it's along the North Shore of Minnesota, and I think we decided this is a must stop.
Definitely a must stop. I really wasn't actually sure what we were stopping at, but we looked at the map, looked at all the cars parked there, and decided that we were going to go for a short hike. It's really cool. It's a deep gorge that actually used to be a full bedrock of rock and 300-foot wide waterfall back in like the glacier period time. But as the glaciers receded, it left this deep gorge, and now there's just a whole bunch of little waterfalls like tucked down into the gorge area.
There's actually a trail on either side of the river that you can take, and we did parts of both. And no matter where you're at along the river, you're going to see some cool sights. You're going to see different types of waterfalls. You're going to see different parts of the gorge. There's what they call potholes, where the water and the rock have drilled into the bedrock over time. And
That's really cool.
It was just really neat to see all of that. I would say probably both sides we found there are areas where there's a lot of rocks and roots, and you want to be careful with your footing.
It could be really slippery when it's wet at different times of the year. So if like spring or fall, maybe it's so dry now that the river is low. And in fact, you can kind of cross the river in a couple spots, like further up the trail where it's just like huge boulders. And obviously when the water is higher, those are going to be covered. But we sort of scampered across the rocks just because it was kind of cool because the water was low. But if you follow the actual instructions to go to the upper falls, it's on the west side of the river, and you want to follow those instructions specifically because if you try to go to the trail on the east side of the river, you're never going to see the falls because there are too many trees in the way and you're above the falls.
The upper falls.
The upper falls. Now, in full disclosure, we never actually made it to the upper falls because we realized that we were on the wrong side of the river by that point, so we just sort of gave up and turned around. But along the way are the middle falls, and that's the section that we actually found to be really cool, and we spent more time there than we did anywhere else because we just really liked it.
There was a lot of areas there where you saw parts of the gorge and, like I said, the potholes and that kind of thing. I thought that was a neater part. We've seen pictures of the upper falls, and I'm sure it's really cool if you make it up there. We didn't. Well, we made it there, but we couldn't see it. So we came back. But I think either way, and whether you want to take the whole hike out, because you could spend several miles up and back on this thing, or just do part of it, you don't have to walk that far, and you'll see some really neat things.
Now, don't be confused when you get here and figure out where to go, because the parking is actually out on the road, you know, on 61 on either side of the road. If you go into where the Temperance River State Park is, all that is the campground. So you actually want to stay out on the main road and park on either side. Now, if you go toward the Lake Superior side, you can walk down a short boardwalk, and then you get a really cool view of Lake Superior where the river empties out. And so that's just a different look at the end of the gorge.
And if you turn around from Lake Superior and look up the gorge, you get a nice view there. There's a little bit of a waterfall. And then across Highway 61, across from the Lake Superior side, is where you get into the trails where you can hike further up the river. And that's where you see all the stuff we've been talking about so far. So it's a great opportunity to see a lot of neat things.
But yes, this was definitely a must stop on the North Shore.
Keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.
There are trails on either side of the river that you can take, and one side is actually part of the Superior hiking trail. Don't fall.
Falling off rock.
Falling off rock. Okay. Do that again.